Welcome back. 1,000 women from across the continent are converging on South Africa tomorrow for the African Women Dialogue, talking about women empowerment and peace and security. The event is organized by the Zanele Mbeki Development Trust and runs from the 4th to the 8th of November under the banner Women's Voice and Power as Agents of Change. Well, for more on this, we're joined in studio by co-ordinator Linda Vilakazi. Good evening, Linda, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here.
Well, look, it's our pleasure. I've been looking through the program, and it's very intense, it's very exciting, it's very diverse. But I'd like to know, when did this idea start, and how long did you take to put it together?
Wow, this idea started festering early 2018 by key South African women who felt that we haven't really given ourselves as African women to have a platform where we can meet, engage, and begin to grow this continent. Of course, South Africa had the backdrop of a platform that we had been running for 16 years, called the South African Women in Dialogue, SAWID. And that's basically South African focused, though its origin starts from the relationship we had with the DRC when they were in conflict, and in our country to try and find each other.
Of course.
And we felt that it was time that we also, for the continent, begin to create that platform. Now, this is a very interesting platform. It's an open platform. You become part of the platform by purely being an African woman. There's no membership. It's open. It's owned by nobody except the women that participate on it.
That's marvelous.
So once the idea caught, within 6 months, we had to wrestle to launch. And we launched last year, November 2018, with 1,000 women at Birchwood for 5 days. At that point, because of the shortness of the planning, we could only bring women from 16 countries. And it went super well. Women came, it was amazing. And I think that bolstered our energies. And we felt, okay, the name is African Women in Dialogue. So if we did so well with 16 odd countries, let's make sure the entire continent is here for this year's dialogue. So this year we're meeting for the first time, a really unprecedented event where now all 55 countries are coming down to South Africa for the meeting. I must say, I think it's good that we had the energy, the commitment, and the push to want to, for the first time, unite African women. It hasn't been an easy road. It was never meant to be, but at this stage, we're really excited. It's happening. The women are here. You should see Birchwood. It's steaming in color, in women, and so it's going to happen.
So tell us about your main speakers. I know you mentioned that they're all from the 55 different countries, but some of them stand out more than the others.
Absolutely.
For the issues that that drive them and the passion that they have for particular issues. So tell us about some of the main ones.
Yeah, I think if I was to do that, we may be here forever. We had to sample from the dynamic women in this continent, those that would be on panels. But we run the sessions such that there's sufficient time for the larger room to engage. So yes, we've tried hard. All regions have women speaking on the platform. We've gone quite strongly for the youth because Africa is young and female. So we have dynamic women who are not even known. We came across a group of young dynamic women in Kenya in the slum Kibera who are fighting against the injustices. One of them is our speaker, Editor Ochieng, amazing, dynamic, never seen, never heard, and it is the issues and the energy she has. And we've packed them with a few known women, but the spotlight is on the issues each woman in the room is going to raise.
Of course. Now, one of the key issues is sexual and reproductive health, as well as sexual harassment that women experience in the workplace. How to what extent are you aware of this being spread across the continent?
I think you simply have to watch the news and read. It's in your face every day. The atrocities women go through, I think we've read about them so ad nauseamly that it's about time we deal with them. And even the sexual harassment discussion goes beyond just knowing about it. We're beginning to say what happens in huge development agencies. Who stands and speaks for good quality issues, human rights protection, gender equality, but internally in organizations we seem to struggle to balance with the very issues that we deal with in public. And that's the focus this time. We're bringing in those agencies that are talking about measures that every agency needs to take. Before we even complain about the corporates, of course we'll deal with everything.
Of course.
But
so you do have So you do have a plan of action to address these issues.
We've got a Wednesday and Thursday that has 3 sets of 10 different events where women can participate. The participation is about immersing yourself in proper discussions, workshop, walking away with tools. That's where women are going to walk away with tools. And the themes are really varied. It's from personal health to what is African feminism, to climate change, to economic empowerment and fun. We're going to talk about music as a peace healing tool.
And how does this tie in with the current programs that are being organized by the African Union? And can anybody come to them?
Very easily, because the African Union has the Agenda 2063, and in there they've got a huge gender agenda. And our point is we've had so many agendas on gender. It's about time all women participate in making them real. We often defer our agency to the leaders. So we're going to unpack issues that later on we can take to the AU, but we can begin to do things about it. By the way, just to mention, the diversity of the women in the room, it's quite important. We've got 60% women from grassroots. Every country has had to make sure there's a woman with disability in their delegation. 50% are young. And we've also said every country must make sure that there's more than one woman who come from the LBQIT group. Because it's important that every woman's view in this continent becomes part of changing Africa into a better home for all.
Is there a business aspect to this conference for women in business?
Absolutely. There's, out of the side events I spoke about, there's 30 different themes. There's entrepreneurship, there's how to turn your crafts into business. We even have a marketplace. Women are bringing some of their wares to showcase them, to connect. Last year we had a very small marketplace. We've been excited to know that women started trading across borders. Of course, our duty is to work with them because there's lots of barriers in doing that. So it's really a wide menu. It's a festival of ideas, and it's the one time women are going to unleash their power and make sure they take charge of the continent.
Oh yes, definitely. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us today. You know, it seems like a very, very powerful, very intense program, and that it's going to certainly benefit women, not only on the continent, but across the globe.
Absolutely. And thank you for having us here.
Thank you. Well, that was the coordinator of the African Women in Dialogue Conference, Linda Vilakazi.